Assalamualaikum and a very good evening to everyone. Today our group are going to present about one of the industrial hazard, which is biological hazard. First of all, I would like to introduce myself and my team members. My name is Fatin Shakila binti Ahmad Syukur and my matrix number is 197275. And next,
My name
my
is
name is
Intan Noor Azrin binti Rusli. My metric number is 197410.
My name is Fatisha Mimi binti Ahmad Syukur and my migrant number is 19672.
My name is Naatika Rehana binti Suhaimi, matrix number 197867.
My name is Nor Aja binti Amran. My metric number is 197433.
Okay, now I would like to explain what is biological hazard. Okay, biological hazard is also known as a biohazard, which is it refer to the biological substances that can pose a threat to the health of the living organism, and primarily it occur for humans. And this can include the medical waste, which is biological hazard is come from the medical waste or samples of microorganisms, viruses, or toxins that every each of them come from a biological sources that can affect human health. And actually the biological hazard not only can affect human life and health, it also can affect animal life and health in a variety of ways. And some of the biohazard have the ability to change the DNA structure, and the changes in the DNA structure can result in gene mutation. And among other diseases that are caused by biological agent is one of them is anthrax, and others are Lassa fever and glandus. Actually, anthrax is a serious infection disease that caused by the gram-positive rod-shaped bacteria that known as a Bacillus anthracis. And it can be found naturally in soil, and commonly it can affect domestic and wild animals around the world. Okay, now I would like to share some example, which is this is anthrax in human skin, but it's quite rarely, and this is glanders in human skin. Okay, which is it happens primarily in horses. Okay, now I will pass to the next presenter to explain about biological hazard sign.
As you can see, this is biological hazard sign. When we see this sign, that means we must aware about biological hazard at that workplace. Next, this is the example where we commonly saw that sign. First at the clinic, as you can see, there is a red biohazard bin, where normally nurse will dispose the syringe that has been used up. There's hospital also, especially at your blood test lab, and this is where we commonly go at chemistry laboratory. Next slide. That is some of the preventive measure that we must obey when we when we see the biological hazard sign. First, you must use personal protective equipment, where it's PPE, include mask, glove, protective clothing, eye shield, face shield, and shoes cover. PPE we usually wearing before we enter the lab. Use appropriate respiratory protective equipment, such as surgical mask or N65 or higher level respirator. That use protective clothing include protective coverall, gown, apron, hat, and shoe cover. These protective clothing are usually the frontliner will use when they handle the COVID-19 patient. Lastly, this is you must really practice of personal hygiene. Wash hand before and after work. Also, wash hand immediately before and after wearing protective clothing, uniform, or glove. To reduce the possibility of infection, this is a preventive measure that you must obey to prevent biological hazard. Yeah, we pass to the next presenter.
Okay, so what to do once you have identified biological hazard? Okay, once you have identified biological hazards in the workplace, it is important to eliminate as many as possible as well as reduce the risk to employees. So by implementing controls the workplace, the risk of biological hazard can be greatly reduced, and in some cases, we can eliminate it completely. So, in this slide, there is two types of controls that can be used to address biological hazard. Which are, first is administrative control, and second is engineering control. For administrative control, we can control reduce risk by changing work processes and activities to make them more safe. Okay, for example, uh, we can allowing proper sick leave to employees, providing education programs, and limiting exposure to potential biological safety hazards, and training staff to work safely around them. So, for the second one is engineering control. Engineering control is reduce risk through physical means. Okay, for examples of engineering controls for biological hazard, regular cleaning of the workplace, pest prevention or extermination, requiring that safety equipment be used and worn, like PPE, and proper disposal of materials and items that may pose a biological risk. Okay, once administrative and engineering control have been implemented, it is important to revise the safety strategy at least once a year and every time the workplace conditions change. For some workplaces, the changing of the season can affect this control. So it is very important to regularly monitor the biological conditions that your employees are working. Okay,
Okay, some example of workplace hazards. The first one is healthcare places. This is because bloodborne diseases, including HIV, hepatitis B and C, and malaria, viruses or bacteria that are bodily fluids. Those most at risk from this kind of disease are doctors, nurses, and dentists. Next slide. The second one is places that has exposure to animals and vegetation. For example, those working in agriculture or horticulture sector, like zookeeper or farmer, they are at risk of encountering bacteria, fungi, viruses, and mites of the animals and vegetation they work around. If not properly controlled, this exposure can result in a range of health impacts, including allergic diseases such as farmer's lung. Next slide. Last but not least is places that has exposure to organic dust. This can result in severe health impacts, including respiratory irritation and occupational asthma. Those at risk include individuals working in food manufacturing and preparation, such as in the bakery. The creation of building materials as well as building construction also can expose workers to a range of organic dust, molds, and bacteria, including clay and straw dust. Okay, that's all from me.
Okay, so next the conclusion is biological hazards can kill or they may cause discomfort and affect the health and performance of employees. We have to be vigilant in preventing and controlling biological hazards to make the work environment a safe and healthier place. Once the ways of control such as administrative and engineering controls have been implemented, like my friends explained just now, it's important to revise our safety strategy at least once a year and every time the workplace conditions change. For some workplace, the changing of the seasons can affect this control, so it's important to regularly monitor the biological conditions that employees are working in. So that's all from us. Thank you.